the Hilltoppers to the Class 4A state championship in football in 1990. As a senior in 1991, he rushed for a then school record 2,026 yards. He played collegiately at Purdue and 12 years in the NFL as a fullback, all with Tampa Bay. A 6-time Pro Bowler, he scored the first touchdown for the Buccaneers in their Super Bowl 37 victory. 2015 JCA Hall of Champions inductee, Mike Alstott.
It's just one in a long line of an example of what students here at Joliet Catholic have always represented, I think, for the Joliet community. Hard work, for the most class, middle class, blue-collar people, chose a Catholic education, chose to make the sacrifice of the tuition and everything else to get into that, and then to be a very, very, very hard worker. A hard worker, constantly in practice, on the field, and at the same time, a very, very nice person. As I was coming down here thinking about that, I could remember after we won the state championship in 1990, him picking up my 4-year-old son and carrying him around the gym. He just was good to little kids, he was good to adults, and I don't think it was anything that was ever put on. That was just Mike. He was quiet and a hard worker, and that's how he lived every day.
When Mike was a student here, he was one of those students that everybody liked. He was the big player, but he had the big smile. He seemed to get along with everyone. He had success. He's never let it seem to go to his head. He's been very loyal to his classmates. Whenever I've seen them at a couple times, he's come back for the alumni banquets, and I've seen him for some other events he's come into town for. He's always had that good head on his shoulders. He always seems like he's very still caring. I think his family is in Florida that he has down there. He's got some boys, he's coaching them. So all those kind of things are examples of, following kind of like the Joliet mentality of being a good person, upright, and taking care of your family.
I think a lot of what he is today is from the Joliet Catholic community, the heart and soul and the drive that he got from the school through sports and through the people surrounding him made him what he is today.
The thing I remember, Mike, that really showed how much is on the football field, and our first game in the playoffs in 1990 was against Morris. Morris was rated #1 in the state at that time. Mike was a junior on a senior-laden team, and it didn't take long before we're giving him the ball, and we signaled our plays in at that time, and this play was our off-tackle power play. And before you know it, Mike's stepping out of the huddle every play. Give me the ball. It's that kind of stuff that as a junior just showed this kid's special.
I think probably one of the best stories is when we were practicing. Mike always had the habit of, every time he ran with the ball in practice, he'd run like 40 yards downfield. But he'd always sprint back and get to the huddle, so we never really lost time. And we were having a tough day in practice, and head coach Bob Stone was kind of yelling at the defense because they weren't making any tackles, and the defensive coach was on a couple guys, and we gave the guys a water break, and coaches kind of come around like they usually do, and Barry Dean, that was our defensive back coach, he goes, "Guys, I got to ask you a question." He goes, "Has anybody ever tackled Mike in a game?" And we were like, "No." He goes, "Well, then why do you expect our guys to be able to tackle in practice?" So, that was kind of the situation. It was like the rules you follow for everyone else might not be able to be followed for Mike, because Mike was that hardworking, even in practice, that he was running over guys, and we're like, we don't need to get anybody killed in our own practice, so let's lighten up. Mike, you just run. Guys, don't tackle him, we'll be okay.
Snicker bars and chocolate milk is like the fixation that he had to have, or my mother thought he had to have, for sports. So it was like, if she didn't get it in time, she'd leave and go get a Snickers bar or chocolate milk. And I think that ran with Mike for many years. I know even in Purdue, he was getting Snickers bars.
He would go to the stadium and he would put his car in neutral, and he would push his car across the parking lot, and he would run the stairs at the stadium. That's one of the things that we still do today, and kind of that was something that he got started, where he'd run up and down the stairs, push tires, flip tires, big tires. He did all those kind of things on his own. He just was looking to do things to push himself to be great.
Well, students today can learn from Mike that through hard work and drive and in your heart, If you believe you can do it, Mike's evidence of what you can do and take it the long way and achieve your goals.
I just want to say, Mike, I know we have not done a lot of, I'm not a very communicative person. I never wanted to bother my players as they went on with themselves. They made their own story. Mike definitely made his own story. No one had to write it for him. He was the main author. And I just want to know that I always, as watching you in Purdue, going to some of your games, watching you on the football field in the NFL, and then maybe even with kids that I have today that I coach, you've made it to video game football. And kids would know Mike Alstott because you were on the Tampa Bay Buccaneers on their TV screen as part of their video games. And I think that's something not many of us ever get to accomplish. You have accomplished more than the average person ever will.
Well, Mike, I think you've worked really hard all these years to get to where you're at, and I'd like to congratulate you. And I know that his senior class and his junior class were the years when we first merged. So I know those were some tough times, those last couple of years for you in your days here at Joliet Catholic Academy. But I think you're a great example for us to follow down the road with all our students, to have you as a good example. So congratulations.
Congratulations, Mike, on being inducted into 2015 Hall of Champions. You're a true Hilltopper. Congratulations. It's from the heart.